Hi, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Wonder Snatch. Today, I have another guest, a very, very special guest. This guest is like someone I've always dreamed to have on this channel because nobody asked. It's Singapore's most 可以讲华语的 beauty content creator, Preeti Please. Oh my god, come.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on my channel, Preeti Please. Have you ever done drag before?
No, I've never done.
I've seen a few videos online of you getting like makeovers and everything. So today we're going to try to give you a very, very exaggerated look, and then we're going to be like hip hop stars because of all your amazing rap lyric.
If only I had this for all the music videos though. This is probably why I need it. But
yeah, maybe next time.
Can.
Okay. If that's something you see, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and you know all that. Okay? All right, Preeti Please, are you ready?
I hope so. I'm very excited, but I'm also a bit nervous.
Okay. You're in good hands, as they say.
I'm sure I am. I mean, your makeup is amazing. I'm very excited to get
Wonder Snatched.
Wonder Snatched. Yes, I'm excited. That's the perfect word. Yes, thank you.
Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so let's get started. And I think I'm just going to block your brows. Have you ever like blocked your brows before?
I have attempted
you've
once.
attempted your Ursula video.
Yeah,
right?
but that's the first time I tried and I could still see my real brows over the drawn brows. But yeah, it was fun doing it.
Okay, so we'll try to do it properly today.
Can.
Okay. Okay, so Preeti, tell me what were you doing before you became Preeti Please, this amazing, how do I describe you, like
Singapore's top
comedian?
everything. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Singapore's top everything.
No, I guess
Come
before I did Preeti Please stuff, or before the character was born, I was the same exact person, just way less delusional and confident. I always like felt all these things and had all these feelings about a lot of like the content or like how media is in Singapore, and I really felt all the things that I've been talking about in the last few years. I just created this character because to me it was just, okay, of course if there's a character I can just play this role up. I could say a lot of things and then just like, kind of like joke about it and be like, yeah, it's Preeti Please. It's this character that I built that's delusional, that calls herself Singapore Stop Everything, but I'm literally bad at everything on camera. Like it's so obvious that it's a joke, So I was thinking that's a funny like kind of trope that I could play up, or like a funny thing that I could just do with this character. So that's kind of how it started. But before that, I was at a full-time job. The first video I made was literally while I was still working at an agency. So I was fresh out of school, was working at an ad agency. This was right after poly, so I guess I was maybe 21, around 21, 22. I saw a video online that was getting really viral of like a local influencer calling herself one of Singapore's top fashion influencers, and she was on the streets of Orchard Road kind of just rating people's fashion, but it was very mean. It was very mean-spirited, and it was really like people were just walking by and she was just rating them like, oh, 2 out of 10, and like this outfit like it's just mean-spirited. But it was also like not her own content. It was a MediaCorp funded thing. So it was very like, when I saw it I was like, that's
cringe.
That's not only cringe but like so mean. And like, imagine the budget behind something like that when that could have gone into making like way better content. But yeah, so when I saw it I was like, that's just mean. Why would you go on the streets of one of our busiest streets in Singapore to just judge people for what they're wearing? So I did the same thing. I wore a trash bag. I went on the streets, and then that's when that character was born. I just was like, I'm Preeti Please, Singapore's top everything. Because I thought it was hilarious that nobody knew who I was except everyone who knew me personally. And they're just going to see this girl who is clearly dressed in a trash bag, calling herself Singapore's top influencer. So I was like, okay, that's already funny on its own. I don't even have to like worry about scripting this or trying to go crazy with it. I am just trying to call out the fact that like, you're just making fun of people on the streets. So yeah, I wore the trash bag, walked around the streets, and then I made fun of mannequins, statues, pigeons. Like I made fun of things, not human beings, to show that like, that's so mean, like I'm walking around and just acting like I'm hot shit and I'm just being so mean to everyone. So I think that video blew up overnight and people were like, oh my god, everyone who already watched the original was like, do you see this parody? Like, there's this girl who made a parody, and then people were calling me the girl who wore the trash bag on Orchard Road. And then news articles came up calling me the anti-influencer. And I'm like, whoa, that was one video. But at that point, I was also just like, okay, I did this for fun. I'm working a full-time job. This was not something I thought, okay, this is a new career path for me. It wasn't like that. So the next video I made was maybe a couple of weeks later, and everything was like filmed on my iPhone, and I sat there and I was like, so guys, after the fame that I received from the first video, I just wanted to follow up to say, I can't handle it. I'm so famous now. Like that, it was just so annoying. The character was just like so fun to play up and just be so full of myself because it was so obvious I was just a walking parody of influencers and specifically influencers in Singapore. So I was playing up like that stereotype when people think influencer in Singapore, they always think you look some type of way, you especially like you have to be like pretty skinny, you have to be pretty hot, you have to post about only certain type of things, and it's all basically Singaporean beauty standards lah that I was also trying to mock because I look nothing like what the average influencer looks like in Singapore. So I started to play that up, and then it became a thing that was okay. I started to get job opportunities. Like people started reaching out to me and they were like, "Oh, do you want to be in this ad? Do you want to be part of our campaign?" And at that point, I decided to leave my job because
How far into this was that?
it's actually super super funny because when I did that Fashion Police video, I was already planning on leaving the agency I was at. So because I was possibly gonna go elsewhere with a better offer, and that elsewhere ended up being MediaCorp.
Oh.
So when I posted my parody of MediaCorp, basically, I got the job at MediaCorp.
Oh, really?
So
immediately?
It wasn't because of my parody, but it was so funny because everything was filmed on the same day. That outfit, like under my trash bag, was the same outfit I wore on my MediaCorp job interview. So I eventually got the MediaCorp job. I had a very nice boss at MediaCorp, and she was very, very supportive. She knew that I was just making all these funny videos on the side. So she would actually talk to me about them. She would reference them. She would laugh at them. She was really cool. And eventually, when I started to get job opportunities from being Pretty Please, of course, when you work at a place like MediaCorp, it's a conflict of interest. So I had to declare it to like the company, and it was something as simple as like $100 paying gig. But my HR person was so mean. Like I don't even know who this. Like the company is so big that I literally don't even know how my HR person looks. It's just some lady who emails me or calls me to check in on things. So when I spoke to her over the phone, she literally said to me, why can't you focus on your job? Why do you need to take on other things on the side? And that like really struck a nerve with me because I was the only person in my family working at that point. So even if I'm earning $100 on the side, it's money that goes to help my family, to pay bills, to do stuff that we all gotta do. So when she said that on the phone, I was like, wow, this company doesn't care about me. They don't care about.
Or maybe it's just that one department. I mean, you had a boss. You had a boss who seemed quite interesting.
But I think
your colleagues.
They were cool. They were
all
supportive.
cool, right? Yeah.
But I think it just went back to like, wow, the system is so like, they don't care about like what struggles you have. They don't know, your HR person doesn't know that you need money. That's the one department in this company that should know. So it just felt a bit like I was very upfront with my boss. I told her everything that happened, and she was very supportive. She told me like, you know what, you're really young. If you think that this is something you want to try and do full time, like go for it. Like the door will always be open for you. Like she was really nice. And I told her, I also went into it like, you know what, I'm having a lot of fun doing this, but I'm also very practical. So I told my family like, if you guys think I should kind of like take this leap and just try do this, but if you guys are open to me like completely failing and then going back to like a full-time job, like let me know lah, because you guys need to like have my back on this, because it's a huge risk considering like I was the only one working at home at that point. So my family was also very supportive, and I told them, you know what, I'm no shame lah. If I do this and it fails, I'll go back, or I'll find something, So I did it, and slowly after like one or two like small gigs, like random stuff here and there, I suddenly started to get like full-on campaigns. Like I created my own Pretty Please email, and then people were.
This is what year was this?
I think this was 2017.
17. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people started reaching out, and then I eventually like left MediaCorp to do this full time, of course, and then it was just very overwhelming. It was like suddenly I just was thrown into the deep end, and I was like, I'm doing this on my own. I'm fully like figuring out how to manage myself and like be a talent, but also be the person that directs your own videos, scripts them, stars in them, edits everything. So I was like, wow, suddenly I'm doing this all by myself. But of course, I did have a couple of friends who were also like kind of in the same industry that I could like I was trying to work with at the start. And because I also went to mass comm, I had so many friends who are just so talented. So I reached out to all of them. I was like, do you guys want to help me like freelance and help me shoot some videos? So I had very supportive friends who just came through lah. And every time it was like a client thing, I was like, if I can pay my friends are all getting paid. If I can't, they were so like open to helping me like do favors or token fees type thing. So I was like, that is very like very, very helpful at the start of my career.
when did all the music stuff happen?
The
First song you did, because that's what I
Yeah.
fell in love with you, because okay, you know, when I grew up, my two big loves, Broadway, musical theatre,
Yeah.
and Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, nice. So, parodies.
So
love
parodies,
that. Yeah.
everything. I mean, even now for my shows, it's like there's chock full of parodies. So
yeah.
and whenever you did any, it was like, this person is like
Yeah.
me.
I love that. But yeah, I always grew up loving parodies so
Uh-huh.
much. Loving when people like just did like any song, any big song in the moment, they parodied it to talk about anything they wanted to talk about. I always loved watching that. So for me, that felt very natural to like, okay, you know what, make remixes or like parodies of songs. So I think it started with a couple of parodies. I think the first one I did was a parody called Mei Li. So it was a Nicki Minaj song called Chun Li. Later in the year, so 2018, in September, I think around my birthday, so it's just September, I told myself like, okay, I want to try and release something in time for my birthday, because like milestone, exciting things. So I remember 2018, yeah, around September, I released Tick. So Tick was my first original song, like on Spotify, on all streaming platforms, my own song. So that was a lot of fun. And like in my comedy content and everything, I'm always talking about things that I really care about. So I didn't want that to change. Like when it came to music, I knew I wanted to make fun stuff that was catchy, fun, and I loved to listen to. But I also knew I wanted to talk about things that I care about. I didn't want to just like, okay, catchy song, and then people are just singing along to nothing that makes sense. You know, I just want to do something that's still very true to myself, and things I want to talk about things I care about. So Tick was very obviously like, it's so Pretty Please, because I was just there talking about how I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't know why you're body shaming me because I'm hot as fuck. So that was really like whole video.
Very on brand.
Yeah, very on brand. Like, you know how in rap videos or hip hop videos in general, people are always like a whole bunch of women like flanking like this one guy or like this rapper. So in my music and in like other music videos that came after Take, I always wanted to like, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry, it's my alarm. I usually wake up around 11 a.m. in the morning, not any earlier. But yeah.
Oh, thank you for making the exception for me.
No lah, of course.
For me also, whenever I do collabs in this channel, I make the drag kings wake up at like ungodly hours, 8 a.m.
No, I need to start waking up earlier though, so I'm glad. But yeah, so Tick was the first song I did 2018, and at that point I just had so much fun making the music video. I had a whole bunch of like amazing dancers be part of the video, and we filmed it at the National Museum. So I was literally shaking my ass at the National Museum, and I don't know how they allowed that, but I guess.
Did you have to get permits?
Yeah. I asked for permission.
And how often do you like work on music? Are you working on music all the time, or is it something that you're very passionate about?
So I definitely would prioritize like my comedy content or like just comedy videos in general. So my music always, for me, it was always something that was the second thing I would think about. So if I have time, if I've like done like pretty much all the comedy stuff that I want to do at that point of time, I'll be like, okay, actually let me think of like, is there any music things I want to do? Is there anything I want to talk about that I can put in song? Because for me, I always felt like I didn't want to make a song for the sake of making a song. And the way like all my songs have played out has always been, I already know what I want to talk about first. And then I go into it like, okay, I need to look for a sound that matches this, or like a beat that I want to like kind of use or recreate. And then I start reaching out to like the people I've worked with, the producers I've worked with, and just like, okay, so how can we do this? Like, let's try and make this work. But yeah, so I always need to like have something to talk about before I even think of making music.
I agree. Like for example, when I'm working on like parodies for my shows, also, you can sit there and if it doesn't come, if it doesn't speak to you, you can be staring at the thing for a long time, and when it hits you, you can't hear anything else.
Yeah, and when it hits you, you just move like clockwork. It like moves so fast, and you know
and you can't hear anything else. It's like I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening. I just don't hear anything. I'm just hearing the lyrics in my head, and I have to rush home and write everything down.
Yeah. Like I always open up my notes app and write everything I'm thinking of. So every time there's an idea, it's so much fun. Like I just want to like, I could stay up all night. I could overnight this. I just need to get it done. I need to put it out there. It's very exciting.
Yeah. So, you know, your journey does sound like you started off as a parody, and then you kind of like became the thing.
Yeah.
Right? So a bit like you know, Miranda sings.
Yeah.
Colleen Ballinger. It became a whole thing, and then but then she kind of like broke out of that and she became her own thing. And even like Drag Race. Do you watch Drag Race?
I only started during the pandemic, and I love it.
But you know, Drag Race, it started off as a parody of competition shows as well.
Makes
so
sense,
it used to be,
yeah.
it was actually a parody of America's Next Top Model and
Which I
Project
loved
Runway and
watching.
everything. Yeah. So Drag Race became that, and now it's this huge thing. So, you know,
Yeah.
drag itself is also something, right? It's also like trying to parody all society stuff and a stance on femininity
Yeah,
and
it's a
beauty
lot of social
standards and
commentary
everything. Yeah, it's a lot of social commentary. So you are basically, you know,
That's true.
a drag queen. Preetipls is a great drag name.
That's true. It's a great drag name already. So some people ask me to like pick a different name. Like that day I went to the Museum of Ice Cream and I was asked to pick an ice cream name. And I'm like, but Preetipls is already so good. It's already not like, it's already a stage name, you know, it's already a name I created. So I changed it to Choco Please plus ice cream flavor, you know.
Choco,
But I was like, it's so fun to like, Preetipls really works for everything. And I love that I was so delusional to just do that whole Singapore stop everything, to just call myself that. Because it works for any scenario. Like if I'm trying to do like any video I ever make, I will find a way to call myself Singapore Stop something, even if it doesn't make any sense. There was once I filmed something for like, I think it was during one of the iPhone launches. So I was in the middle of Orchard Road when the queue was insane for the new iPhone. And I was like, hi, I'm Preetipls, Singapore Stop queuer. Like, makes no sense, but not even a real word. But it's so obvious that this is a joke. Like, I am not saying I'm good at this. Like, it's just so, I love satire so much lah.
Yeah.
But and I feel like that's my favorite part of watching Drag Race. Like every time there's so much like, there's an Easter egg in the like when Snatch Game, when they do stuff like that, and when there's a Easter egg in the comedy and the layers to like the outfits and the if you know you know, I love that. That's my favorite part.
Same here. I think we kind of like the exact same thing. Okay, so now we've powdered everything. How do you feel? Is this like a little bit, your brows is this a little bit higher than usual, so we have a lot more space for your eye makeup today?
It is so defined though. It's the best my brows have ever looked, and it's not even my brows. I love that. No, but I'm excited. There's so much space that I can only imagine.
That's why for drag we really like to do that. Yeah. So the other thing that you are kind of known for is makeup.
Yeah, I love makeup.
So how, did you, even before Preetipls, were you a big makeup girl?
So I actually started makeup, I think in secondary school. That's when I started like actually like trying to put on makeup and stuff. And it's because my mom was always a huge like makeup person. And oh my god, I grew up a beauty queen. A child beauty queen.
Yeah, you were in pageants, right?
Yes, I was in pageants. So my mom was the stage mom lah, that had like the bag or the big box of makeup, and she would bring me to different shopping malls for my runway shows. And yeah, so I grew up with like, I definitely put on quite a bit of makeup as a kid. Because I also did ballet. So I don't actually talk about these things, but it was a huge part of my life as a kid. Yeah, so I did a lot of ballet. I was in a lot of pageants, beauty pageants. So I definitely put on a lot of makeup as a kid. And when I look back at pictures of like performances and stuff, I was like, wow, like that's so cool. Like I don't remember a lot of it because I was really young, but really cool to like look back and see how I've always killed it at the makeup game. No, I'm kidding. but yeah, as a child, like I enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, I started because it was very easy for me to start because my mom always had a lot of makeup at home, and she was always someone that wore a lot of colors. So the colors that my mom would always wear, always blue, purple. So and it's so funny because even today I always wear blue and purple. So I'm like, oh my god, my mom did this.
No, I was gonna give you blue, but maybe you try something else.
No, but I love them. Like I love blue and purple a lot. I love cooler toned colors.
I think same here. So for drag it doesn't really matter. You can change your undertones with the amount of layers you put on, so it doesn't really matter. But but I think naturally I tend to look better in cooler colors as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, every time anyone has ever like tried to shade match me with foundation and stuff, they always gravitate towards picking warmer, like yellow undertones.
How did I do?
No, I look good.
It's
like,
good,
like this is a very good match, and it's cool. It's a cool match. It's not a. I prefer cool undertones so much more. But they always say like look at the color of your veins, right?
Yeah. But mine's greens.
Yeah,
obviously.
mine's
So I'm supposed to be
green.
warm, right?
Exactly.
They're supposed to be warm, but I find it doesn't really.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think peach undertones or like pink undertones look so good, and like blues, purples. Like I don't think I look good in orange. Like I don't think warm colors are that great on me, but I do try them out on my lids. Sometimes I'll just put those colors also.
Okay. What's your favorite makeup brands you like? Let's look at that.
Wow.
This is a really rainbow color.
Huh? I love this so much. Love these shades and these shades.
Okay. So I let you pick which one you're trying.
No, when you do anything you want.
Let's do purple. Okay. Since your favorite color. Okay. So how do you come across makeup usually in your everyday life?
So now I feel like I wear makeup so much that it's just once I don't do a certain thing, I don't look like myself. So if I don't have a winged liner on, a black winged liner on,
Mhm.
I don't look like myself. Like it's very weird, but I cannot imagine leaving the house or like going to an event or
Mhm.
doing things like being
But you did a
obviously
blue wing liner once. I
yes,
saw it.
yeah. So I mean, okay, it doesn't have to be black, but I have to have a liner on. My eyes will look so like, oh, like I obviously did not put makeup on, or I forgot a step if I don't put on my liner, and even lipstick. Like if I don't put on lipstick, the amount of times people ask if I'm not feeling well, or like, oh, how come you look so pale today? And it's like, I cannot rock a nude lip. You know, I cannot. Like I just have
Oh, I was
one.
going to. I was going to because I noticed you do red.
I always
It's
do
always
red
red
or a very like a
you know, it's always yeah. So
No,
so
no,
I
but-
I was gonna do a nude lip for you to challenge
yeah,
you.
no,
Yeah.
I want to. Yeah, I would love to try that. But I feel like it's cause every time I still I haven't found the perfect nude lip for myself, and
Mhm.
everything I find still ends up being a bit like a light pink or like a mauvey.
Yeah.
Like
Whenever I'm trying to match a nude lip to its liner and everything, I just find it so difficult because
Yeah.
there's so many of them,
correct.
and they're all in such different shades. So you know, red is usually the easiest.
Yeah,
just to match,
it's always
right?
that's why I think
Yeah.
like people think red is so bold and like, oh wow, like I don't know how you always wear red lip, but I'm like, oh my god, to me this is my go-to. Like I don't know how to do a nude lip. I don't know how, and I also am not a gloss girl.
How about black lip?
I think I've tried it for like shoots before,
Mhm.
but not to actually
Not to go
wear
out,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I definitely am open to like colors and trying out new things like that. But yeah, for the nude lip, I think it's really once you find that combination, I'm sure it's like it'll be a go-to also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have any favorite brands?
I am not like I'm not someone that like would only stick to a brand. I'm also happy to like use whatever works. But I really like Rare Beauty a lot.
Mhm, yep, I know.
But I also know I definitely think it's also because I'm a huge fan of Selena. It's like how I'm a huge fan of Rihanna, so naturally I was like, okay, I'm
Fenty,
gonna try all Fenty, and it does not the brand didn't disappoint. Like it's really good. Yeah, so it's nice to know that it lives up to the hype. It's not an overrated brand or anything like that. But I think in terms of like eyeshadows and colors, I really like Tarte palettes.
Mhm,
I think they are quite creamy palettes. They're not just like powdery and they don't like have a lot of fallout when you put them on.
This didn't very excite me. The color story never really excites
because
me.
it's always very neutral.
Yeah, yeah.
But they do have. I realized the palettes that I like are they're like the wild ones. So they have like this Tarte's Pro remix palette, and it's like the purples. There's like it's all shimmer. Like almost every shade in it is like a full shimmery shade.
As you can tell for drag,
Yeah.
I tend to use more mattes.
Yeah.
Because shimmer sometimes it accentuates like the man if you put it in the wrong place and
okay.
everything. So you know, for drag and we're shaping and sculpting, we want to make sure the lights and the darks are light and dark.
Yeah.
Not suddenly a dark with you haven't got light.
Yeah.
so yeah, but shimmer in the right places is definitely nice. A lot of my friends love shimmer, but
Yeah.
to start off with drag, usually we like to go with mattes and the shimmers. I tend to either not use the shimmers, I'll use a little bit of glitter or just gems, so I know exactly where I want light.
Like just on the
Maybe at the inner
lid.
corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes I put it in the inner corner. Sometimes like just above my eye.
Eyebrows. Yeah. Okay.
And of course now you're one of Sephora's
Sephora
influencers.
Squad, yeah.
Sephora Squad. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's quite fun. And with Melvin as well, who's been on my channel. Yeah. So
oh, nice. Melvin has been on. I
yeah,
didn't watch it.
not here, but we did a kind of a Zoom thing during the pandemic.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I really
fun.
love Melvin.
Yeah, I always see Melvin at things, but like we properly met because of the Sephora Squad. So yeah, I'm glad we got to work together on there. So and I got to meet like everyone who's part of the squad. So that's really cool. Like I always see them at things, cause like events and things like that. Naturally, we'll always see them. But nice to like properly like meet these people, and they're all like really cool, and we all have different experiences with like makeup, skincare, and everything.
Great, yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So what perks do you get for Sephora? So what do you get? Like, did they send you like give you free stuff?
I think it's essentially like one big partnership. I mean, it's amazing because we're all already massive fans of the brand and we all shop Sephora. So it's really just, I guess we're just going to work hand in hand with things. So when they have upcoming campaigns or like big, like right now it's the holiday season and Sephora holiday, like the holiday season is huge for Sephora. Like the amount of holiday like launches they have and just like value sets and things like that is, they already started like last week. So it's, and I mean, yeah, they already started in like October basically. So yeah, you know, for big campaigns like that, we work hand in hand. So of course they will like, I guess, kind of like send us some stuff and we can share about it, post about it. But it's not just like a, okay, unboxing video, here's some stuff I received from Sephora. It's a bit more like, I guess in depth, or it's a bit more we actually want you to like talk about the things that you love about the brand and you love about these things, or like your experience shopping Sephora and holiday collections and stuff. So it's a bit more like, I guess, intimate.
And you also, I think you had a video or a post recently about, brown skin and makeup and everything, and inclusivity in brands and everything. That's
Mhm.
something you're obviously very passionate about.
Yeah.
In Singapore, I think I did a video a long time ago where I did this drugstore thing, and then the drugstores here are really like
Yeah,
the shades is
they don't
it's
bring
shameful.
in all the dark
It's so
shades.
shameful. I mean, with
Yeah.
Sephora, it's much better because
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you go, you get Fenty and stuff like that. You get the whole range. But
Right.
before that, what do you do for your shade? It's like if you had to use
I
the
think I just used
Maybelline, they had like 3 colors.
Yeah, no, and my
even
mom
today,
would buy
yeah.
like not even like a Watson's Guardian type
Yeah.
thing. Like it's random like stores that I don't know what the brand is called, but my mom would have foundations that I would try and match. And my mom and I are not even the same shade. So it's like tricky, but I would always try and make it work. But I think when I was younger, I also never really cared about my
Matching complete.
and also like base makeup. It was always like, oh, let me try and do like some eye stuff. I'll put some eyeshadow on, I'll put some eyeliner on, or lipstick. I never thought like, okay, I need to like do foundation, I need to do concealer. Like I never thought about those steps until I guess I got into makeup proper, and then I was like, oh, okay, I definitely want to like, like even out my skin tone. I want to like.
By then it was probably 2015, 2016.
Yeah, so by then
but it was still quite crap, right? Or did you? Or was there
I think it was.
options
I think it
then?
was okay. I
was
can't
better?
remember what I shopped or what was my first foundation brand. That's a very good question actually, but I need to think about it. But definitely, obviously, I did not have the luxury of Fenty.
Yeah,
And Fenty,
yeah.
when Fenty dropped, I was like 40 shades. I don't even need to blink. Like I know I have my shade here, and it was such an amazing feeling for a lot of like darker skinned people. Of course, it was just like finally a brand that you can get behind. You know that they actually care, because all 40 shades are here in Singapore. And the sad thing is that like for drugstore brands, they have these shades, they just don't bring it to Singapore because
Yeah.
they just pull that whole like, oh, there's not much demand for it.
It's so boring. So I know Maybelline. The Maybelline.
Fit
No,
Me?
the lipsticks, Super Stay.
Oh, okay,
lipsticks.
yeah.
They had this black one, which
Okay.
you see all of it in Instagram. It looks so good,
Oh,
but
they
they
don't
don't bring in because
in.
all they bring in are all the
Right.
different shades of red.
Yes, yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know they
Yeah,
did that for
they made a
lipsticks.
black one, and I just saw it on Instagram and said, oh, that is so cool.
The amount of times I've seen the Maybelline Fit Me foundation on TikTok, I'm like, I don't even want to bother trying to find this in the store, because I walk past, I see it, and I'm like, I don't see any shade that's like obviously part of the 10 range or medium range even. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna try.
It's definitely much better now.
It's so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
better. But even in Sephora, actually, like some brands still don't bring in the darker shades. Like if I'm not wrong, I really think the only brands that I would even look at foundations for, or like I know for sure I have my shade, would, of course, like Fenty, Rare Beauty, One Size, like those brands like that are so marketed to also like be so inclusive. Like I know for sure I have it here. But a lot of other brands that are like, I guess, a bit more luxurious, I don't really see brown shades or like dark brown shades.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of shitty, because like, why we still exist?
So as a Sephora squad, do you have any say in that? Do you like try to make that a big deal or something that you talk about?
I think for like prior to being a part of the squad, I've always, because for most brands in Singapore, you always work via an agency, or it's always an agency representing them that reaches out, whether or not it's a paid campaign or like we just want to send you guys some stuff. Every time I'm working with the agency, I feel like I've just spoken to them for so many years that like I'm friends with all these people now. So I don't really hold back, but I'm obviously very, very polite about it. And I'll just let them know, like, oh, like even when they give out, like when you attend massive events and they give out like standard goodie bags to everyone, I go home receiving a shade 2, a shade 3, like something that I look at and I'm like, I cannot even use this to highlight unless I'm doing like a insane like look where I need to bake and stuff like that. But this is useless for me. I would need to give this to my fair skin friend. I would need to text my friends and be like, anybody wants this? This is great. I would love to try this because it's a brand new product that I would love to review or post about. But I physically cannot wear this. I'll actually text them and like, I know it's a standard bag. I know there's like 20 other things in this bag that work, but it's a foundation. I have to let you know that like it would be nice if like for these things you guys actually checked, or like you just put it out there that, hey, the shades that you're getting not gonna match you, but let us know, we'll swap it out. So since I've expressed that, I have I've been able to do that. I've always been able to just let them know like, hey guys, like this is a I can't wear this. Do you want me to send it back to you guys, or how do you want to do this? Like, do you guys have my shade available because I want to try it?
Okay.
Yeah. So I love that I'm able to do that, or at least like.
And that also
they care
opens up the door for other people to do the same, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like in this industry, like just in the beauty industry in Singapore, not even, I wouldn't call it just the influencer industry, but I feel like when it comes to just the beauty industry, it's very like there's not a lot of allyship, I feel. So even with things like recently I spoke about that whole Laura Mercier campaign and how they literally had I think 30-40 people in a campaign, and it was, you could tell the budget on that, or like the production value on that was huge, because everybody had it was a big video with like they edited everyone's pieces together, and then everyone had a individual segment where they talked about their favorite product. And I think the shade range, like for like the 30 people that they got, maybe varied like by 5 different shades. It was like everyone was around the same shade, or like a variation of the same shade group. But for me, it was very obvious in that campaign, people had an issue with the fact that there were no brown people in this video, and your entire brand, your makeup brand, and the products that are your best sellers are all your like foundations and powders and stuff like that. But to not even have an inclusive campaign or feature a variation of skin tones is like, obviously you don't care.
No, obviously they don't. I mean, a lot of them don't bother hiding it. There are a lot of these luxury brands are created for white women and rich Chinese women or something like that. You know, so they I think they really, really don't care, and they just want to keep quiet about it, and hopefully no one notices. Correct. But you know, no matter how much you make noise about these things, unfortunately,
correct, they don't care.
The women who buy it are still gonna buy it.
Yeah, they are. But the thing is, it's not even. I feel like in this day and age, people always think it's we want to cancel or we want to boycott. And it's not. Like everyone can still go use Laura Mercier, and if you love it and it works for you, you should, by all means. But I guess what I'm talking about is mainly like within the industry. And of course, I don't expect the average consumer, like someone who just shops Laura Mercier, to be like, oh, I saw your recent ad and I didn't like it, so I'm not shopping. Because that is, to me, like for that to happen, I think we're so far from that. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But of course, if that happened, I feel like that will spark actual change. But it's just within the industry, like the people who got paid to be in this campaign, the people who had no qualms with being in a campaign where like their darker skinned friends were not featured, their darker skin in like fellow beauty community friends were nowhere near this campaign, and they were very okay to do it. And that's fine. Maybe you didn't know, but after the backlash and everything, did you say anything? After getting paid for the gig and moving on, did you actually express to the client or the agency that like, hey, I don't know if y'all saw the backlash, but it would have been nice if y'all got more like brown people in this campaign, because you have those shades. Why are you like acting like you don't exist? Yeah, so it's just I wish the allyship was stronger within the community, because it's like, in that whole like beauty scene or influencer scene, it's.
What is the beauty scene in Singapore like? Actually, I only know like maybe a handful of. I know of you. I know of Melvin and maybe Clara.
I feel like the beauty scene obviously like overlaps with the influencer scene completely, so it's just I feel like a bulk of it is people who definitely like do makeup on themselves, like me. People who just create beauty content and put on makeup on themselves and review products and just share about like their own personal experience with makeup on their own channels. But of course, within the community, there are people who are makeup artists themselves. So like my friend Sahar, she's
the one who did your makeover.
Yes, so she did my makeover before, and she's insanely talented, does makeup on herself every other day, but also has like clients, does bridal makeup, she does all that. So I guess within the community, it's not a lot of different like, it's not a huge variation of like what everyone does. It's essentially makeup, but some people are like full on like transformation, like Melvin will do like full on insane 180 transformations. But like there's people like me who just do like, I just do makeup for myself, but on occasion I'm gonna have fun with it. I'm gonna do something a bit more like extra or just something funny.
There's more relatable, definitely. Not everyone is gonna do can do what Melvin does.
For sure. So but I guess that is the beauty community in Singapore. But of course there's a huge like chunk of it that's made up of makeup artists who I'm not personally very close to, but I work with them occasionally on photo shoots and stuff here and there. And that's a whole other like part of the community that I don't know much about. But yeah, so I just think allyship in terms of stuff like that, you know, like people don't really talk about these things, and it's always the brown people talking about it. And it's when that one or two like light-skinned influencer finally speaks up about it and people start to care, and then I'm just there like, thank you. Like that is allyship. It's as simple as it is. You're using your platform to talk about something that you don't necessarily need to care about, but you do. Or that's something that doesn't affect you personally, but you care because you are part of this community, and there are people within this community that are slightly more marginalized or who are obviously treated some type of way, that you are using your platform and the privilege that you have here to do something, and to even whether it's just to bring attention to something, that's already a huge step in this day and age and in Singapore. Yeah, so even Clara, like, she has also spoken up about things, or like, you know, even if it's just like a TikTok to just be a bit like, I'm hinting at something but I'm not really saying anything here, you know, do what you want with this information, like that helps. Because she also like made a TikTok about the Laura Mercier thing, and the comment section were people discussing it, or like, oh my god, yes, like, do y'all see this ad? So I'm like, that is kind of what allyship looks like. Of course, there are many different like extents of it, and it could really just go to full on like, you know what, I'm gonna like talk about this up front, and I'm gonna say what call it as it is lah. But I guess that's a start, like to see even like fair skinned influencers, Chinese influencers to like speak up about these things. It's a huge deal lah. It still is today, like in 2022. It's unfortunate that that is a massive deal, because you would think everybody should just be talking about this openly, but it's not that easy lah, and people don't.
Okay. Well, and talking about it has got you in trouble before.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That's the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about was, you know, of course, that whole brownface nonsense. I mean, I think in Singapore, okay, just to say that I was studying in New York City for a while. Before I went there, I was like, also I must admit, in Singapore, people don't talk about these things all the time. So I mean, if you grow up here and you have friends who basically don't really care, a lot of these things, people can get very flippant about it. Yeah. So, you know, I remember my first year in school, I was telling one of my friends there about how people talk about each other in the gay community. So, for example, for a white person who likes Chinese people, you're a rice queen, and then if you like Mexicans, you're a bean queen, and then if you like Indians, you're a curry queen, things like that. And I thought, oh, that's so funny. But then my friends were horrified. They were horrified. They were horrified at these words coming out of my mouth, and I was like, wait, what? I don't know what is wrong. I mean, me and my friends talk this all the time, and it's only after that, and of course being immersed in America where people talk very openly about race and everything, that I thought, oh, okay, so a lot of these things are not cool. And I'm sorry if I said any of those things, but no, it's people still say it. Oh, I just realized I'm still baking. I just realized I still so and then of course you when that whole brownface ad came out, and then you and your brother did this
like a parody thing again,
and you guys got slapped with a
like a 2-year conditional warning.
And how did it make you feel? I mean, being singled out like that. And I mean, I saw the pictures of you guys, you know, walking to the courts, and then you must have felt how did it make you feel?
I mean, it was such a shitty feeling. It was such a shitty experience. And so this is something that happened in 2019. And after the incident, we received a 2-year conditional warning. So basically, up till 2021 August, in those 2 years, if we committed any crime at all, we could get charged in court for the rap video. That's what a conditional warning meant. I mean, of course, I'm somebody who jokes about anything and everything in my life. I mean, Preetipls is obviously a character I play. But Preeti, like real life me, was just sitting there and like, this is insane, this is ridiculous. I have so many things to say, but I literally don't know what I can or cannot say anymore. So it was just sitting there and like, I don't know how to express myself anymore. I have so many feelings right now, but I literally got in trouble for expressing myself. So now I'm just gonna not say anything and try and figure out how to feel. So those first 2 weeks after getting in trouble, it was so messy. Like, I was overseas when it happened, and it was a work trip, and it was just a 2-day thing, and that whole trip was a retreat. My life is so funny. My life is so ironic. It was a wellness retreat. And
Oh,
I was
no.
there like, oh, the police are investigating me. And for
Oh,
and that was right after I landed and reached the villa with like the client and all the other people who were on the trip. And I got my friends were texting me like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" I'm like, "What is happening?" And then they sent me an article. So I basically found out from the news that my brother and I were getting investigated for a video. So I'm just like, what is happening? This is so weird. And for the rest of the trip, I essentially spent the whole time at an extremely beautiful villa that I would never be able to like go like there on my own accord. Like this was a work trip. So I was just there like in the most beautiful place in Bali, just sitting there looking at watching the view and being on the phone with lawyers. And I was like, I was also somewhere in my mind, I was very amused at the irony of my life, but I obviously couldn't express that. And the moment I was just very stressed out, and it was just a 2-day thing. So after that, when I came back, like everything just started to get worse or just escalate, and so many things just made me even more frustrated than I needed to be. And it was things like how like everybody involved got investigated and were getting interrogated while I was stuck on this trip and like just trying to come back home already. And they explicitly told my brother that like, oh, after I come back to Singapore, I just needed to go into the police station the next day to give my statement, and that I wouldn't need to rush down like after landing, I can just go home and the next day I will go in. But instead, I got detained at the airport. And
hell.
they explicitly told my brother that like that wasn't gonna happen. So that was shitty because obviously it was a work trip. So I'm coming back with the client and everybody who was on this trip, and my passport, my thumbprint just didn't work. And I'm just there like, what's going on? And yeah, I had to get detained. They like just held me back. It was just like I think 12 or 1 a.m. It was late at night. And I was like, this is so unnecessary. And the next day, 10 a.m., I needed to be at cantonment to give my statement. So I'm like, why was that happening the night before? Like, this is so unnecessary. So yeah, it was just a lot of these little things that were very unnecessary that just made the situation worse. And it was also, everything happened, I think, around the National Day period. So it was so obvious that they were going to drag this out because they didn't want this to take like precedence like over like the parade and then all the news about the long weekend and National Day and stuff. The verdict was out on August 14th, and they told us we got a 2-year warning, and that was just.
Sorry, your phone is there.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Oh, we forgot to do the TikTok. Can we do one TikTok first? Okay, we took a little bit of a break because we needed to line her lips.
And I couldn't talk.
So you were telling us about National Day.
Yeah. So everything kind of like happened that week of National Day, and then we received the warning, and it was just very it was a very confusing time, and for a while after, I just didn't know what I could say or couldn't say, and I started to self-censor lah, which I feel like was the whole point of me getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Was so I didn't know what I could say anymore, and I just stopped talking basically, which I should probably do now. But I mean, I've been in this industry since like the trash bag video. So that was 2016, but I only started doing everything full time like 2017, 2018. So, but I feel like it's long enough to have witnessed a lot of people like get in trouble and then disappear, or like apology videos and all this kind of drama that you see on the internet in general. So I feel like I saw that happen so often, and then I started to like realize, why am I comparing myself to these people who have disappeared because they were accused of being like sexual predators or things? Why am I comparing myself to them? Like I stand by everything I said, and I stand by the video and everything that I put out there because my intentions were very clear. Like my brother and I were completely misinterpreted, and it was just like it was blown out of proportion lah. So yeah, I stand by everything I said, and like I feel like the point was just missed once again, and all this noise was just made to take away from the fact that a very racist ad was put out, and nobody's talking about that. And that guy is still like a radio DJ at MediaCorp, and that guy is still making bank, and he's a veteran actor in Singapore. And I'm not saying like he needs to be jobless, but what I'm saying is, just look at how disproportionate everything.
Have some accountability. I mean,
exactly.
it's the whole same thing with your HR person, right?
Yeah.
They see everything as a black and white thing, and they don't see the intention or the layers and the nuances. And that's something that
it's very disappointing.
It's disappointing, but be prepared to be disappointed. A lot more.
Correct. I know.
Throughout your life.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why for me, I was like, I started to self-censor, and then I told myself, why am I doing that? I stand by what I said. I'm gonna own this.
Yeah.
So right after the conditional warning, before even that verdict came out that we were getting a warning, obviously everyone expected me to just be silent, and I wasn't responding to anybody who I was not like
Mm-hmm.
close to, like people who were not already in my house and hanging out with me and spending time with my family and they know everything that was happening at that point. I didn't bother to like follow up or text people, and the amount of reporters who just had my phone number overnight were spam calling me, and it was just insane. People were hounding us. So I just completely ignored everyone, and I told myself I always make a National Day video. So this time it's insane because it might not even have been a conditional warning. If I said something else that they didn't agree with, this could have been something worse. So I was like, it was a time where everybody expected me to just be silent and kind of just wait for like to see what was going to happen to us. But I decided to make a National Day video. And right after receiving the warning, my next video was things I cannot do now because I have a conditional warning. So it was like, I'm gonna make fun of this like till the day I die. I'm gonna make fun of the fact that we received a conditional warning.
Do you ever get like a call saying like,
no, so
no?
I haven't, and I also I haven't really talked about it much anymore, because of course at the period when we just received the warning, it was a lot of people were like, what does a conditional warning even mean? And in all my videos I started to make jokes about it. It was just full on satire and also mocking the whole fact that like, oh, I can't even jaywalk now because somebody might call police and I can go to jail for the video. So it was very sarcastic, and it was so obvious that I was pissed off, but I was also like, you know what, I'm gonna have fun with this because it's very easy for people to also paint me as angry brown girl on the internet, and I know that's a very convenient narrative a lot of people have. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna laugh at this. I'm gonna laugh at everyone, and I should just do what I do best, which is parody things, make fun of everything, satire. And it was a lot of having to remind myself that like don't beat yourself up over something that you are gonna go down in social studies textbooks. Like just you made such a massive point that people needed to hear, and just keep doing what you do. You know, like
keep doing what you do.
Like don't self-censor. That's the worst that I could have done to myself.
Do you still self-censor? Do you like think twice before you do things now? Do you think it had that effect on you?
I think I definitely like. It depends though, because it depends on the subject matter. But I think since the warning and since the warning ended already, like in 2021, there hasn't been a moment where I was like a really intense like, should I do this video or will I get in trouble? Like there hasn't been anything that intense, because I feel like I've been able to kind of navigate those lines, thread those lines closely enough but not get in trouble. So I feel like I've gotten better at doing that. For somebody that loves parodies and loves satire and all these things, I feel like challenge accepted, you know? Like you are literally right now, it's just a huge game of like, what can I say? You know, what can I not say? But of course, if I genuinely believe that, okay, this is controversial, this is very tricky, I don't know how to talk about something, I would of course get a second opinion. I would ask the people around me. But I naturally already do that. Like even if it's just a funny silly video, I always just share it with my friends. I'm like, should I post this? Like, you know, even it's just like random. But of course, if it's a big thing, like something that I think, okay, this is huge, I should properly like get advice or get someone to sit through and watch this whole thing and let me know what I should remove. Then I've no shame in doing that. And I also feel like I'd rather like better be safe than sorry. But even if you need to say sorry, you can do a parody apology, which is what I did.
Okay, I need to silence you now because
Okay,
I need to blend this up before it dries. Pretty in a nude lip.
How often do you get in drag?
How often do I get dragged?
Yeah.
Once a week, at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I first started my channel, it was like twice a week. Some weeks I'll try to take a break, but at least once a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How do you like your nude lip?
Oh my god, I love it. Oh, it looks good. Nice. Yeah.
Okay,
Finally, I'm wearing a new lip.
It's super overdrawn also.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually that actually seeks right into the next thing I want to ask is all the activism that you do. You are ambassador for Pink Dot, so a very huge big queer ally, and you also over the pandemic you raised like tons of money for migrant workers.
Yeah.
You do stuff with Aware for all this. So you're obviously very active in this space.
It's funny because I'm unfit. Sorry. No, but yeah, I love that. Like, I think it's so, because okay, every time people call me an influencer, and then there'll be at least someone else in the room who's like looking at me like, Preeti, do you really identify as yourself as influencer? Like,
yeah, I don't think you do, right? Because
yeah.
because I think a lot of times in a lot of interviews, when I'm doing my research about you, you always say content creator, or more often than influencer itself. So
it's really the negative connotation towards the word. But like, I'm not gonna act like I'm not. Like I understand that if an influencer means someone who has influence, then yes, I'm an influencer. But in this climate, to call myself an influencer feels like I'm calling myself a basic bitch.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, let's just call it what it is, but that's what people think when they think influencer. So I mean, sure, if people are gonna like walk away thinking like I'm a basic bitch, that's fine. But if you just take one look at my content or like anything I'm talking about, I feel like you would be able to tell that I'm not.
Yeah.
So I always say content creator because I feel like that's exactly what it is. I make content on the internet. Like even the word comedian, I feel like everyone else in the comedy scene would like cringe if like they heard me say I'm a comedian, because I feel like it's a you're supposed to do stand up, you're supposed to be in certain like stand up circuits, or like you're supposed to, I don't know, you're supposed to be some type of way, and it's not me lah. So
no, but you have parody songs.
yeah,
You do comedic
exactly.
TikToks.
So I
it's
completely
still, yeah.
regard myself as a comedian, but I feel like it's also tricky. So I feel like the best way to just call it all is to just kind of call myself the title I gave myself, which is Singapore's top everything.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way, that's the safest way. So if I'm an influencer, sure, but I'm Singapore's top influencer. If I'm a comedian, it's Singapore's top comedian. So yeah, I'm sure, like, I mean, anybody who understands satire would not be offended by it, and would know that it's obviously a joke. Because even in my Pink Dot videos that I've done over the years, I literally come into it with like my energy is like, hi, I'm Preeti, Singapore's top straight person. Like, who wants to hear a straight person talk during Pink Dot? No one. But I'm coming into it like, okay, I'm obviously an ally. I'm obviously here, and I'm obviously gonna say what I want to say and say what needs to be said, and everything that I believe in lah. So yeah, I've even called myself Singapore's top ally, which I know is a huge claim, but it is all part of the I'm pretty pleased, I'm Singapore's top everything. But of course, I'm an ally. I'm a huge ally. But am I Singapore's top one? I don't know, but I try to be. So, yeah.
Can you be Singapore's top eyelash curler now?
Oof, I will try my best. This one I might not be able to do.
Oh, is it? You can't.
I don't usually curl my lashes.
Okay, because we're going to give you false lashes.
I'm so excited for that.
Huge ones.
I always put on my lashes for like a couple of seconds, and then I give up, and then I take it off. On Deepavali, like halfway, everybody was in my house, I had lashes, and then suddenly it was gone.
Why?
I just couldn't. I was like, I cannot see. I can see the lash coming off. I just took everything off.
Hey, your lashes actually take curl very, very, very well.
Hey.
Huh? They do.
Singapore's top eyelash.
Yeah, there you are.
Should look like.
Yeah, it's too cut. For drag, all we need to do is just darken the lashes, get rid of the powder, so you don't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally the only reason I wear mascara, because I put on enough powder that it becomes white, and then I'm like, yeah, I need to put on mascara now.
Look at these.
Wow, I'm gonna fly away. I love this. What lash glue do you use?
This is my favorite. I use black lash glue, so you can't see it. So a lot of people don't like it when I do it, and then because it. I mean, if you're not careful, you can really mess the makeup up.
Yeah.
But I really like this. Is Be Perfect. It's a UK brand.
They
You
have,
know
like,
that, right?
The pellets, right? The instant pellets.
yeah.
I've seen. Wait, but what's your favorite brand? Do you have one?
Not really. I think my favorite brand, when it comes to brand, as in not just the makeup but the whole brand and everything, I think Trixie Cosmetics. I really love Trixie Mattel.
God. You use one of Kimchi's like products?
Yes,
right?
I was using the Kimchi's concealer.
I've seen the powder online. Like everyone talks about the powder.
The powder's really, really good. So I do mix it in a little bit there.
Oh, okay,
there's
nice.
there's probably a little bit there.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere on you.
Nice, love that.
Okay, so now we're just gonna try to get these.
Try
lashes
look
on.
down.
Yeah. Plonk that. Okay, open. Oh.
It's so cool. Wow.
Huh?
It's so nice. And it makes so much sense to block the brows and draw it higher. 'Cause
Yeah.
the lash is not blocking the brow, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
so
yeah.
like impressive.
Is there any particular thing that you think in Singapore right now that we are not talking about that we should? What's the thing you want to throw the most light on? We talked about a lot of things today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there definitely isn't like one thing that stands out when you ask that, but I still think everything that I have already spoken about are still not things that have that everyone has enough conversations about. You know? So I mean, I guess recently it's not a recent conversation, it's been happening for years, but just in the recent couple of months, a lot of people have been talking about the death penalty again. So that is definitely something that, like, I mean, recently there's just been so much clownery with Ministry of Home Affairs and Richard Branson.
Oh God, yeah, that was crazy. Can you imagine if he accepted?
Yeah, no, and obviously he will reject it because, like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? Like you're not even talking to people from your own country. You're not even talking to Singaporeans that are fighting this battle so hard, and you want to talk to some billionaire and you want to fly him in and sponsor everything.
Yeah.
Like, do you not see the
exactly.
irony in
Yeah,
everything?
and you can't even debate your own activists first. right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
you choose to ignore all these people who've been saying so many important things like for years now, and then who have completely dedicated their lives to like anti-death penalty work, and you just ignore them completely, act like they don't exist when they have been like saying everything that you need to hear. If you're only gonna listen to like one person, they're right here in Singapore already, you know. So yeah, so it's just that is definitely something that I feel like has been so ridiculous recently, but so many issues like even things like body positivity. Recently, I've also been learning about body neutrality.
I think lunch is here. Yeah.
Yeah, so like body neutrality, not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
body positivity.
yeah. I
that's
think
really toxic.
I've seen some TikToks on those too.
Yeah, so I'm like, I mean, there's so
like
much to
toxic
learn.
positivity. Is this a way that people talk nowadays? The Gen Z and the Gen Z people, they have almost a word for everything.
Yeah,
They're
they do.
and they're digging up a lot of old all these sociology, anthropology words
Yeah.
and trying to make it a thing, and it
Yeah.
just gets. I mean, it's good that people have words to talk about things,
Yeah.
but sometimes it just gets so
Yeah,
a bit
it's-
too much. Yeah.
And it also becomes, I mean, it's amazing that people are talking about it, but it becomes very daunting because when all these words are just thrown out, then I can only
and all the
imagine.
nuances is also right. So,
Yeah.
you don't know when to use what, for
Correct.
example.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's very tricky. But I think recently I saw okay, so actually I want to get your opinion on this. This is interesting. But obviously as a straight person, I feel like in the last few years, of course, with all the work I've done, the content I've done, and being in a lot of queer spaces, I feel like I'm taking up space because sometimes when I see some TikToks and content and like people are actually expressing, just recently, just like 2 days ago, I saw a TikTok of this guy in America saying, like straight people, like straight girls, you're not welcome in gay clubs. Yeah, like, and his reason behind that was because it was Halloween night, and it was, if a straight girl's gonna show up, her straight boyfriend's gonna come with her, and all her straight friends are gonna get dragged along, and it suddenly becomes a place that like the DJ would need to start playing music that they want to hear, and it's no longer a queer space. So
Well, I think it's definitely something that a lot of people talk about. I mean, a lot of the drag queens do talk about when they're doing a drag show, they have bachelorette parties come in and take over the joint.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think whenever a straight person attends a queer event or something, they have to know that they're there as guests.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, obviously, no one should be excluded from any of these things. But they have to realize that the drag queens are not there to be tugged on, to be manhandled.
Right.
You just to assume that they're just going to take a picture of you just because you're there.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course, the music's going to be different. You don't go up to the DJ and say, "Hey, can you play my favorite?" So
Correct.
you know, when you come over and take over the space,
Yeah.
that's when it's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely that's how I think it should be also, because it's not everyone's the same, you know. It's not like all straight women come in and they're
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
insane.
No,
But
no,
there's straight women
absolutely.
like me, you know, who are very like,
You're basically a drag queen. Now you're on
now I am. Today I am.
yeah,
Yeah, so what's up, right? No, I'm kidding.
that's another thing that I wanted to get another opinion from you about. So what do you feel about drag queens? For example, in Singapore, we're very multicultural. For let's say if a Chinese drag queen wanted to do something for Diwali and put on, like, you know, saris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that something that makes you think twice? Because I haven't dared to do it.
Yeah.
You know, some of my friends do. I mean, they do it beautifully.
Yeah.
They will reach out to their Indian friends to take pictures with them and everything. But still, I'm not sure. I mean, I would love to be able to, if I ever go on, let's say a drag competition show, I would like to showcase everything of Singapore.
Yeah.
Not just myself. And maybe that might include maybe Peranakan drag. I don't know. I'm not Peranakan myself.
Okay.
But what do you think about that?
I feel like it's always it always just goes back to like the intention and also like how the portrayal of everything. So of course when it comes to something like if it's Deepavali and you want to dress up in a full on sari, you want to do full drag and full like traditional Indian outfit, I think that's completely fine. And I think it's, if anything, it'll be so nice to see like on my feed when I'm just scrolling past. It'll be nice to see, but it just goes back to like how it's portrayed, because
and how much work you put into it, how much effort you went into the
understanding
references
it,
and understanding. Yeah,
because if it's like a whole video and you're actually explaining everything and you're doing it, and like as you're explaining the steps, it's like, are you respectful of the culture? Are you respectful of like just everything about that surrounds like the outfits, everything. Are you calling it? You know, some people call it a costume, and some people like want to dress up like that on Halloween, and that's where like okay, that's not okay. That's obviously not okay. So yeah, if it's I think it's completely fine because it just goes back to like how are you talking about this? Are you trying to understand it? Are you trying to learn? And if you don't know something, are you just upfront and like, okay, so I'm not sure what this is called, but I know some people call it a bindi. But then of course I'm sure in the comments people will be like, oh, actually like South Indians would call it a potu. You know, so like in my audio recording to you, I was like, oh, this is actually called a potu. Like I said to you, like I don't know if I want to
calling it bindi.
No, but it's the same thing, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm completely fine with that. Like most people in Singapore call it a bindi, but South Indians will call it potu. So it's very like it's those little things, like, you know, if you don't know, you don't know, and that's fine. Like you're not like saying that no, this is what it's called and this is the only way. So it's just I guess how people approach it.
But also on social media, it's a snapshot. You scroll through a feed, and you don't see. Let's say let's say for example I did like I wanted a Hari Raya thing, and when it got like all these Hari Raya, and then I just posted it, and then I had all the explanation, but people don't read, and then they see, and then they start attacking you.
I think that's just uncalled for already. People are attacking because it's not disrespectful at all, and it goes back to like why are you finding an issue with someone dressed up like that? Like there's also layers to it because you're doing drag. So is that their issue, and is that their issue because you're doing drag in something that they see as traditional, like cultural wear? So is that something they have an issue with? Because that's also like. And then you need to like think about what issue, like where the problem actually lies here, like what's wrong, what you think is wrong. But I think it's completely fine.
But I still think it's so tricky, and you know, I just don't.
Yeah.
But you know, even for me, this is something else that has been gnawing at me a little bit, because you know, for example, I'm not the typical drag queen that goes to a lot of the, you know, I'm not a lip syncer, I'm not a dancer, so I don't turn up in a lot of the drag spaces, and I have heard that some people don't think that I'm actually part of all that. So whenever I do go in drag or turn up at these places, a lot of people or film, you know, do vlogs there, people think like I'm clout chasing and stuff like that.
But I feel like okay, so I guess to be able, like, I can relate to an extent because that's how I feel in comedy spaces. And I feel like people just look at me like, oh, she's not a real comedian because I don't do the things that a real comedian is supposed to do. But I don't think it's clout chasing. You put in the work and you are extremely talented. Look at my face. And I think it's just because you don't like hang out at these spots, or like it's not your scene to like show up at these things all the time. It doesn't mean that when you do and when you take a video of it, you're being fake, because you're not saying, I come here every day. You know, that's not what you're saying. You're not lying, and you're not like putting up this front and trying to like be this person that you're not. You're literally saying that, oh, you're here today and this is what's happening here, and you're vlogging. And it's not like I come here to this thing all the time, and like you're not trying to be someone you're not, or like lie. That's not what you're doing. So I think as long as we're true to ourselves, as long as we're just doing us, I think if someone's gonna call it clout chasing, then it's their problem lah. Like I really think people have too much time on their hands to care about what everyone else is doing, when I don't think that's anything wrong with that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for validating me.
No, of course.
That's what I hear. But no, I'm just kidding.
No. But yeah, all these spaces should be safe spaces. Especially when it's your community. You know, it's sad when it's not. Or it's sad when it feels like you don't belong, even though
I mean, in the end, it's a lot of these like internal politics and always, internal hierarchical structures that all go back to this whole patriarchal system, right? So we just need to be able to live and let live. Okay, so I think we're done.
Yeah.
We're going to go and squeeze into our little outfits, and we'll be back.
Little outfits, huh? I didn't know, not the little.
and we'll be back to with the finished look. All right? Okay. Okay, and then we... Hi! Hi! Hello, you made it. This is my sister.
Hello.
We'll be vlogging, is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
That's why I mean, you're everything's out there already. So.
I've already started. So. Hi, I'm Colleen.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and agreeing to this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. This is my track.
So nice. So exciting. Oh my god, it's a full-on like
full-on
dressing room. I love it. Love the lights so much. Yeah, so nice.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a rough sketch about what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So the main reason I'm telling you this is because sometimes when I ask open-ended questions, people just ramble and then they just go on about everything, and then everything's at the beginning of the video. So basically, I'm going to just talk to you about like before Preeti, what you're doing, how you started in being, in entertainment, a bit of music, then about makeup, and then I want to talk about all the nasty stuff that's happened to you.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's okay. And then we end up with some activism about all the stuff that you've been doing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Okay. So we're gonna get into our outfits now. So you brought
I have pleather pants. Never worn them in my life. Don't know why I bought them.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
for today. I have a pleather skirt.
Okay, so Kalin, can you help her?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
can you help her do this?
Okay, I'll go toilet first.
Yeah, you go toilet first. Earrings. I think your earrings are okay. I was gonna give big hoop earrings.
I look like the Michelin Man, but that version and hot.
Hot Michelin man.
Yeah,
He's sexy now.
I'm the Michelin woman.
How do you feel about this process of getting into
This is so exciting. I've never looked like this before. This is really like first time ever. First time for everything. I realized this is so Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. It's very.
It has a look.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Um,
You start all the wigs yourself?
yeah. No, that one I didn't. That one I bought, but I started. Does it feel on?
Yeah, feels good.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wow, look at the braid. It's so long, so nice.
I was going to give you like these little things to put over your fingers.
Yes. Oh, this is so insane.
Okay, so this is my hip hop Nicki Minaj look, and this
Very
is
nice.
this is Preeti Please.
I love it. I love the braid.
How do you feel, Preeti?
I don't know, somehow like, obviously my makeup is so heavy, but it doesn't feel like it. Like, the only thing I feel on my face is literally my lashes.
The lashes.
Yeah, I mean only cause I can see them a bit because they're so long. But I don't feel them. Like my eyes can open completely. Like I'm not like, ugh, I need to take them off, you know?
Yeah,
I feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
You look very cute. You look like a cartoon character.
I mean, there was once in primary school, this is a bit mean lah. But in primary school, my school was very bougie, so they had swimming as a CCA. And there's a reason that I can't swim until now. Because I tried, and then the swimming coach, when I thought I was drowning, I thought I was dying, and I was like a 6-year-old child, and she laughed at me and she called me a cartoon.
Oh no.
So that bitch
Sorry?
is the reason. No, it wasn't a trigger. I just remember the funny story. But that bitch is the reason I can't swim until today. So sad. Now I might drown all because I look like a cartoon. But yeah, I never learned how to swim since then.
Oh,
But it's okay. At least I look cute.
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
But you look hot.
Yeah, no, this is really like mind blowing. I don't know how. This it shapes so well.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never seen myself with bigger hips and like a more defined like ass. I didn't think I could go bigger, but I guess I can. I love it.
It's the beauty of drag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I think we
We,
can do a
we
selfie.
look like we are going to be in a music video.
Yeah.
The next Preeti Please music video.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, wait. Let me go see.
And we are back, and we're in these PVC hip hop looks, ready for the next Preeti Please music video. How do you feel, Preeti?
I feel so good. Thank you for putting me in drag. I love this so much.
Thank you so much for coming on my channel. Where can they find you? Everyone should be following Preeti Please on all major platforms, okay? Where can they find you?
You can find me at Pretty Please. I'm Pretty Please everywhere except Twitter, but nobody cares about Twitter anymore lah. Because
Yeah.
Elon Musk is in charge. Anyways, yeah, Pretty
And
Please.
we can be expecting to see some more of you over the next few months.
Yes, so for the rest of the year, I'm working on a bunch of holiday stuff, and I also moved to a brand new home at the start of the year.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I plan on putting out all the new home content like before the year ends. But next year, I really want to start like my restart my podcast. That has gone on a
Oh yeah,
hiatus
the
for too
last
long.
one was the one with your mom, right?
I think that was the last episode. Yeah, the
I was
episode-
just listening to this to revise,
Oh,
and you
nice.
said we'll see next in episode 17. Maybe nothing for
No, episode 17 next year.
And
Yeah.
also, I noticed that in that same episode, you actually
Mm-hmm.
talked about how much you like Disney.
Yes, I do. And I just heard off camera, Your next Qabaret show is Disney themed?
Yes, it's Qabaret Duz Dizney. So I'm putting you on the guest list.
Okay.
So you must come.
When is it happening?
25th of November.
25th.
Yes, and the links all in the description below. So come to our Disney show. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, I'll tell all my friends. They love Disney.
All right. So, and if you like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and you know all that. Ring that bell so you don't. So whenever I get amazing guests like this, you'll see them immediately. All right. Okay. So we're done. Bye.
Yay! Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Now we just do some poses for the thumbnail.
Nice.
Actually, this ponytail has. The last few times I wore this ponytail, I never really managed to look like this. I don't know.
Oh, this is the best?
This is the best it's looked. I
Yeah,
always
it looks very
not.
good.
I always try not wearing it because I always thought make my face look too long.
No, it
But for
looks
some reason it
good.
works today.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Okay, wear more ponytails.
Yeah. I love it. It's good.
What is this an idea for your next music video?
This look?
Yeah. No. Any other look?
Oh.
Any drag look?
I mean,
I can give makeup.
yes, I will let you know, of course. I mean, you killed it. I look so good. And it doesn't feel like my makeup is like way too heavy. It feels so wearable.
Yeah.
I can only feel the lashes, that's it. So
Then now the soundtrack of everything is like.
yeah. And like everything, nobody get what we're saying. This is all you hear.
Alright, check out my other makeovers. My last one I did Honey Gluttony over here. And of course before that, my other Qabaret alum, Taku. Bye! Yay! Okay, we're done with that.
Yay.